Hey, welcome to the second part of nutrition. Um, so this is just the continuation of the first part of nutrition. So we're going to start nutrients by taking a look at them on four different angles, or we're going to take a look at four different things about a given nutrient. The first is characteristics of a given nutrient. We're going to take a look at physical and chemical characteristics of a given nutrient. Secondly, we're going to take a look at uses of a given nutrient, like what is its role in the body. When you eat a given nutrient, what does it do to your body? And thirdly, we're going to take a look at sources. Where can you get a given nutrient? For example, after studying a nutrient, you become interested, you want to eat it, you want to have a certain thing happening to your body. So we are going to get that nutrient. Fourth, we're going to take a look at the disease it causes if not present in the diet. So if you don't eat that nutrient, what are some of the problems you might end up facing? So we're going to start with lipids. So lipids are nutrients made up of the elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Lipids are made up of these three elements. Just to give you an idea of what lipids are oily food substances such as cooking oil or salad, as we like to call it, and butter. So those are two examples of lipids, and also fats from animals like pork. It usually has a lot of fats. Those are lipids. So here are the characteristics of lipids. So first, they are insoluble in water but soluble in alcohol and organic solvents such as benzene. What does it mean? So lipids, like fats, they don't dissolve in water, hence they are insoluble in water, but they dissolve in alcohol and also in what are called organic solvents. An example of an organic solvent is benzene. There are some lipids which cannot be eaten and lipids which can be eaten. These ones which can be eaten, hence are called edible lipids, include oils and fats. So oils and fats are some examples of edible lipids. Oils are liquid at room temperature, while fats are solid at room temperature. So oils are like cooking oil, it's an oil because it's a liquid at room temperature. And butter or animal fats or fats from pork, those are solid at room temperature. This is not a hard fact to know. Yeah, then the third characteristic is the building blocks of lipids are glycerol and fat acids. So just like protein, glucose or carbohydrates are made up of simple sugars as building blocks. Lipids are also made up of glycerol and fat acids. Each molecule of a fat comprises one molecule of glycerol and 3 molecules of fat acids. Actually, the right word here we're supposed to be each molecule of a lipid comprises one molecule of a glycerol and 3 molecules of fat acids. So let me just draw an example of a lipid so that you have an idea. So we can have a glycerol here, and it must have 3 fatty acids for it to be a lipid like this. So this is a simplistic drawing. They can be drawn in different ways, but as long as there is a glycerol and 3 fatty acids, just know that it is a lipid. So what are some of the uses of lipids? So the first is waterproofing. So certain organisms such as ducks secrete lipids which prevent their bodies from getting wet with water. Lipids don't dissolve in water. So what can happen if you cover your whole body with lipids, with cooking oil, and then you dive into water? So you come out, of course water will be dripping off, but your skin under the cooking oil won't be wet. So some organisms such as ducks use this tactic to make sure that their bodies don't get wet. So when they're about to get into water, they secrete lipids so that when they come out, their bodies will still be dry and only will be covered by lipids. The second is insulations. So animals have a layer of fat under their skins which prevent heat loss from the body. So under your skin there are some fats which prevents heat from getting out of your body. So they act as insulators. Sorry for slim people. Yeah, you might have not much of fat under your skins. Yeah, so sorry for that. The third is formation of cell membrane. The cell membrane, which we know to be partially permeable, is made of lipids. So when you eat lipids, the lipids, part of the lipids you are eating is going to be used to make cell membrane. Fourth, lipids act as energy sources. Lipids store a lot of energy which is made available when the supply of carbohydrates in the body is low. So when you haven't eaten too much carbohydrates such as bread and others, your body is going to get energy from lipids. Lipids store lipids store more carbohydrates than lipids store more energy than carbohydrates. So that's another thing. To master these, for those who like mastering, you can use the memory aid WIFE, where W stands for waterproofing, I for insulation, A for formation of cell membrane, and E for energy. So where can we get lipids? So lipids are found in vegetable oils and animal fats. So most of the cooking oil comes from vegetable oils, and also animal fats, things like the fats that are found in pork. So that's animal fats. That's where you can get lipids. If you don't have lipids in your diet, you're going to suffer from what is called Gaucher disease or Tay-Sachs disease. I don't know what this disease is. I've never seen anyone having this disease, but this is what you're going to suffer if you don't have lipids. Yeah, so the next type of protein that we're going to start are called, the next type of nutrients we're going to start are called proteins. So what are proteins? So proteins are made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Lipids are made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but proteins, there is nitrogen. I want you to remember this. Nitrogen is very important in the formation of proteins because it's part of the proteins. What are the characteristics of proteins? So the building blocks of proteins are called amino acids. Remember, carbohydrates are made up of simple sugars. Lipids are made up of glycerol and fatty acids, while proteins are made up of amino acids. There are basically two types of amino acids. The first are called essential amino acids, and the second one are called non-essential amino acids. So what are essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids? So your body is capable of making its own amino acids, but not all types of amino acids. There are basically about 20 types of amino acids. So some can be made by your body, but others cannot be made by your body. Those which can be made by your body are called non-essential amino acids. Why are they called non-essential amino acids? Because they are already in the body. It's not necessary that they are part of your diet. Then those which your body cannot make are called essential amino acids. Why? They are essential in your diet. They're supposed to be there because your body cannot make them. If you don't have them, you're going to have to face some consequences. So essential amino acids are those that the body cannot synthesize but must be part of the diet, and non-essential amino acids are those that the body can synthesize and so are not required in the diet. We continue with characteristics of proteins. Amino acids are linked by bonds called peptide bonds to make molecules known as peptides. So two amino acids can be joined by a chain or a bond called a peptide bond, and what is made when two or more amino acids are joined is called a peptide. So there are types of peptides. They are what are called bipeptides, which are made when two amino acids are joined. Dipeptides. Di means two, by the way. Then there are also which are called polypeptides, which are made from more than two amino acids. Poly means many. So from here, a peptide molecule consisting of two amino acids is called a dipeptide. Di means to remember, where one with more than two is called polypeptide. Poly means more than two. Sources of proteins. Where can you get proteins? So we can get proteins from meat, fish, milk, eggs, and regam seeds such as beans, groundnuts, and the likes. What are the functions of proteins in the body? So there are basically three functions of proteins. The first are growth and repair. So for you to grow, you need proteins. If you don't grow, just start eating proteins, you'll grow. And also, when you have injured yourself or when part of your body is cut, for that part to be repaired, then proteins have to be used to cover that part. So proteins are in charge of growth and repair of body tissues. Then they are also important for making body chemicals such as enzymes. So enzymes, remember, are proteins in nature. So there are some chemicals in the body which, for them to be there, you need proteins for them to be made. Such examples of such are enzymes, and we also have hemoglobin. You remember hemoglobin, which is found in red blood cells. That one is made up of proteins, and therefore proteins are used to make such bodily chemicals. If you don't have proteins, you're going to suffer from kwashiorkor. So this usually happens in children, because children, the metabolic rate is high, or maybe, to put it in simpler words, they grow faster. So for that to happen, proteins are needed. But what happens if you don't have proteins? If a given child doesn't have proteins, it only eats nshima without meat. Yeah, so what happens? So what will happen is your body needs to grow. So since there are no proteins, your body will be getting your body parts, to be getting your bones, your skin, and other protein substances inside your body to help you grow. So what will happen is you're going to be skinny, and usually you're going to develop a potty belly because of kwashiorkor. So that's what happens. The body will be eating its own proteins for growth to be possible. The other element is water. So water is an inorganic molecule made of the elements hydrogen and oxygen. Its chemical formula is H2O. So inorganic means something that doesn't have carbon and hydrogen together. So its chemical formula is H2O, meaning that it's made of 2 hydrogen, that's what that 2 means, and 1 oxygen. Yeah, so that's water. What are some of the uses of water? I want to talk about characteristics of water, such as its colors and the likes, because you know them. So what are some of the uses of water? First, water is a universal solvent. What does this mean? Universal solvent means it is able to absorb most substances in the world, in the universe. In short, it can absorb many substances. That's what universal solvent means. So because it can absorb many solvents, many substances, it plays a pivotal role in different bodily processes. So you swallow, you put salt in your mouth, it will be dissolved by water. So the fact that it is a universal solvent helps us to participate in different processes in the body. It helps in thermoregulation. So thermoregulation is made up of 2 words, thermo and regulation. Thermo means heat, and regulation means control. So it controls your body temperature. It helps to do that. When it's hot, you drink water, you feel a little bit cool. That is thermoregulation. It helps in digestion. So when you eat something can be dissolved by water. So therefore, water helps in digestion. It's a component of body fluids. So there are some body fluids such as tears, mucus. They are made of water, and therefore you need water for you to be able to secrete them. If you don't want to be crying when things are bad, don't drink water so that you don't secrete tears. Participant in metabolic reactions. So water participates in many bodily processes because of its different physical chemical characteristics that we haven't even discussed. So just know that water participates in many metabolic reactions. Also, water is very important for making what is called a hydrostatic skeleton. So there are some organisms that don't have bones, such as worms. So how do they move? For you to move, you need the skeleton. So they have got a skeleton that is made of water. It's called hydrostatic skeleton. So then they need water for that hydrostatic skeleton to be there. If you don't have water, you're going to be dehydrated. As simple as that. You're going to have dry lips, dry skin, and the last element we're going to take a look at is called refuge. So refuge is indigestible part of the diet made of cellulose. The other name for refuge is dietary fiber. So what does it mean, indigestible part? It means you cannot digest it, you cannot break it down. So why should we eat something that cannot be broken down and you cannot get nutrients from it? It has got a different role as compared to other nutrients. It's not absorbed by the body. It is not, in short, doesn't help the body in any way, but it helps the process of digestion and transport of the food we eat from where we get them to where we excrete them. So what are the uses of Refuge? So it adds bulk to feces and stimulates peristalsis, which is a wave-like motion along the alimentary canal, thereby preventing constipation. So big words here, what do they mean? So it adds bulk to feces, meaning that it makes feces a little bit hard, not harder, but a little bit hard instead of appearing like you are having diarrhea. So it is responsible for that. And it also stimulates peristalsis. So peristalsis is the movement of the food you eat in the alimentary canal. So that movement, the wave-like motion movement, we're going to start this in the next topic, but that movement of food along the alimentary canal is called peristalsis. So it makes sure that the food moves smoothly along the alimentary canal. So where can you get Refrige? So get Refrige from maize and polished cereals and fruits. And polished cereals are food like gaga, for those who know what gaga is, and roller meal. Yeah, I think roller meal is unpolished. That's the difference between roller meal and breakfast. So if you eat shima with roller meal, you're going to have a lot of fat. There are some people who prefer roller meal to breakfast because of this nutritional benefit, meaning that when you eat this, you won't have issues when you go to the toilet. You cannot constipate because of the fat that is found in unpolished cereals. So the deficiency, if you don't have fat, what problem you're going to face? As we have discussed already, you're going to constipate. So lack of fat leads to constipation, which is difficult defecation due to hardness and dryness of feces. So this is what you're going to suffer if you don't have Refrige in your diet. So this marks the end of this part of nutrition. Watch out for the last part, which is part 3. For now, happy solving.